What is good, you guys? Welcome back to my channel and my podcast. Now, I have a very special success story. This is a treat for you guys. I am so incredibly excited and honored to share this story because it's just one that really talks about everything that we talk about on my channel. And I know that it will bring you some sort of clarity on a lot of what we talk about. So definitely get your pen and your paper out. And I'm so excited to really bring this to you because this person, they executed this so beautifully, so beautifully, and it just mirrors everything that we talk about. Now, this person didn't want to be on camera because they work in a very prestigious position, but I am excited that I was able to speak with him yesterday and we got a little bit more deeper on a lot of this subject. So this email came to me after I posted in the community tab that comment from one of you guys about how you revised being cancer free, which I'm hoping to speak to her soon. So if you're listening to this, make sure you email me so we can have a chat. I want to talk more about it. I knew you were going to do it when you told me you were going to do it, and I'm so happy that you did. So let's get into this email, you guys, and we'll talk a little bit more about just the key things that I want to share about what happened. So the email says, "Hey Autumn, I saw your post about the lady who is now cancer free. Congrats to her. I saw she said something about revision, and I could relate to her revision success, but for my career. I work for an incredibly competitive Fortune 500 company in New York, and I got passed up for a promotion in favor of a colleague who I thought was a friend. He came to me asking for my opinions often, but I didn't realize until they announced who got it that he even went out for the same position. When it was announced that he got the position, they gave him props on things that I've shared with him. I felt so angry and had a hard time congratulating him when it came to it. I felt slighted, disappointed, and like it was done on purpose. I felt like I no longer wanted to work. I stopped talking much at work, and the next thing I knew, I was searching for a new job. It sucked because I worked so hard at this company for 10 years in hopes that I would get promoted, since it doesn't happen very often, and I love what I do. This funk that I've had went on for months. I've read all of Neville's books and I understood some aspects of revision, but I was getting into knowing deeper aspects about I am. I was watching a few teachers on this subject, then I came across your channel. Your free masterclass blew me away. I've never heard anyone describe reality creation in this way. You were so generous with your knowledge, so I started listening to more of your videos. I like your perspective on revision, and there was one video you made about revision that changed everything for me. It was about the lady and her boss, and it was a video that I played on repeat all day. Now, I've shared this video before, you guys, but I will link it down below in the description box or the comment section so you can go watch that video. It is still one of my favorite success stories to this day. But he said something about it was resonating with me deeply. So I bought your revision masterclass and I went to sleep after I watched it. The next day, I was getting ready to head into the office and I was listening to that YouTube video again. And when you talked about the unity part, that's when I had this thought that if he got the job using everything that I shared with him, that means that we got the job. And that actually means that I did get the job. Do you guys hear this? Do you guys hear this? I thought that this was so brilliant, so beautiful, such a aha moment, right? So again, he said that if he got the job using everything that I've shared with him, that means we got the job, and that actually means that I did get the job. I started laughing because it made me think of everyone is you pushed out and the things you've talked about in your videos. I went to work that day with a different attitude. After months of feeling upset with everyone at the job, I went to work and had a great day. I accepted everything as it was and trusted that I am the person that I really want to be. I went home feeling good about myself, and that snowballed into a miracle. I started going to the employee happy hours again. I went to a run club that I was interested in. I went into work feeling indifferent about everything that happened, although some days I didn't feel the best when it was in my face. I dropped thinking about the situation and actually started to have small talk with the colleague who got the position. And I told him he was doing a great job because he actually was. I felt neutral about a lot of things that was happening, so I paused on finding a new job and trusted that the perfect position will come my way. Everything was back to the way that it was, and not long after this, I had a routine meeting scheduled with upper management, to which I thought it was about one of our clients' accounts. I was nervous when I went in and saw the president of the company. I sat down, and the meeting was about a position that had opened up. There was a person with a prominent position that was retiring, and instead of hiring an outside person, they were looking to internally hire. The president goes on to say that I came highly recommended from everyone working on my floor, especially the colleague that got the position I originally applied for. Everyone had great things to say about my character, and my colleague expressed how I played a hand in his development for the company. They went on to say how they appreciated my contribution as far as my respect I've gained amongst my colleagues. It seemed like everyone, including people who don't work on our floor, always speaks highly of me. The president said he wanted to meet me because of how well I was spoken of. I was blown away, speechless actually. I never knew that anyone felt that way about me, much less that a position was open. I had no idea what was going on, but for months, all the months that I was avoiding everyone, there was a restructuring happening within the company. At the beginning of the year, we are downsizing and are operating on a team system. I I was offered a position that I've never dreamed of. I just wanted the position I originally went out for. But now my office will be 3 floors up with a nice view, and I will have my own team. And that team is the people on the floor I currently work with. The guy who got the job I originally wanted will manage them and report to me. Isn't that amazing, you guys? That is just like so mind blowing, right? I sat in disbelief after they told me the pay and incentives and the stock shares that will come with the position. It felt like I was floating into space as they were talking. I was so overwhelmed. Of course, I accepted right there, and it was more than I dreamed of. I went back to down to my cubicle and my colleague came around and smiled at me. I immediately went up to him and hugged him, and I thanked him for his input. Later, we all went to happy hour and everyone was giving me hugs and buying me drinks, saying speeches and saying how excited they were to have me as a boss, and they were all recalling moments throughout the 10 years I've been there where I was there for them and things that I've never considered to be a big deal because that's just how I am. I never received this much recognition in my life. After 10 years at this job, I couldn't see this being the outcome for me to receive my desires on such a grand scale. I probably wasn't reaching high enough, giving to everyone else, and now everyone else pushed me higher than them. Now, I'm going to sidebar this because what do I say, you guys? What do I tell you guys? That giving is receiving, giving and acknowledging of yourself and not holding back is receiving. So, and he said, I was so overwhelmed with gratitude and I feel this unity that I've never felt before. Everything that happened with the one guy was meant to happen. And now I'm laughing for real that we both really did get the job. Now, I love this so much and I was so excited to talk to him. And I want to talk to you about some of the key things in this success story that he executed so beautifully. Just, it was just the perfect unfolding. Sometimes what you think is really happening or going on is really not happening at all, especially when you're looking through this distorted lens. So, the first thing I want to talk about is when he didn't get the position that he wanted, he immediately implied separation by believing that he was slighted and disappointed and believing that his colleague had done that on purpose. Now, of course, you guys, if this happened to anyone, of course, they may feel a sense of disappointment and feeling all the feelings that he felt. But what he did was he spent all those months being quiet, no longer liking his jobs. He started being at odds with people in his mind and not participating in his reality. So what was he doing, you guys? He was avoiding. He was avoiding, and And then he decided that he was going to start applying for other jobs. So he was reacting to the separation that he was implying by believing, well, I'm not the person that I want to be, and there are people against me, so my reality is outside of me. And so now he's avoiding and reacting, constantly reacting, and now he no longer likes this job that he loved for 10 years. And this went on for months. He said for months he was looking and operating through a distorted lens. So the second thing was that revision video that he watched of mine. Again, I'll link it below. The part of that video that resonated was that unity aspect of the success story. In that story, the client had desired a perfect outcome for all that was involved, from her boss to the company they were ordering from and her. She really desired the best outcome for everyone without avoiding anything. And it was understanding that she was the source. So if you heard that video or watched that video, you'll understand what I mean here. So at first, he didn't understand why that resonated with him. But as he kept listening to it and he watched my revision masterclass where I talk more about it, for him, he had the thought that if there was no other and there is only I am and there's only fulfillment here, then the guy getting the job and me sharing what I've shared with him was actually me getting the job. So I can be happy for him. I can say that, hey, that actually did happen to me. I did get the job because now I don't see him as outside of me. And I love that he said that we got the job. That was signaling the unity aspect there. So now he no longer needed the outer circumstances to be a certain way in order for him to realize that he was the source of his experience, right? So the third thing was, and this is the most important thing, this is what I talked about in our previous video, he got on with life. He got on with his life. It's like he pressed play because before then he was avoiding, he stopped and doing all the things that he was doing that was already a fulfilling life. He stopped, right? So he pressed play on his life. He stopped avoiding what was and then started moving from being the source of his experience again. So he said after months of feeling upset at everyone, and when he went to work, he had this different attitude. He said that he just accepted everything as is, but he still wasn't different to what he was feeling. And I liked that. He didn't place all this meaning because one moment he may feel a way and about what was happening or what was appearing. He didn't make it mean anything about him. And I love that he did that. When we talked on Zoom, he was talking about how he was excited about the fact that he didn't no longer felt like he had to push aside those feelings that came up, that if he felt a way about seeing the guy actually doing some of the work that he would have done, he just kind of went on about his work and he still was being the person that he wanted to be, right? So he said that because all that time that he was avoiding and he stopped doing all the things he liked to do, he started realizing that his perception was so narrow and he started seeing everything and everyone as being negative, but he wasn't realizing that he was just closing himself off from his life, from his partner and everything that he had going on and everything that he wanted to do. But he didn't like that, and he liked himself. He realized he liked himself better when he was open and he was the person that he wanted to be, the person that was sharing, the person that was being the source. And so he said, you know what, I'm just going to be that no matter what. So he started living again and trusting that he was the person that he always wanted to be, and that was enough, right? That was enough. So he stopped looking for other jobs again, and he said he trusted that no matter what, the perfect position will come his way. So he started expanding his lens, but this time beyond what was possible before. He said he went to the after work happy hours again. He started speaking to the guy that got the position, and he ended up telling him that he was doing a great job. He said he actually meant it when he was telling him that, and it started to make him feel good at the fact that he was just being present in the moment. He wasn't doing it to get like all this outcome. He was just being who he always was. And so he went to a run club that he said that he was interested in for quite some time, but he never went. And he just ended up going. He started following all these things, these nudges that made him get more out into the world and more involved with his world. So he just moved while being neutral about everything. And so the fourth thing is the way that he got his job. it did come to him, you guys. That perfect position came to him, right? He didn't have to go applying and looking for another job. It was right there the whole time. And I love that it was recommended from the guy that he helped amongst people from all over the company. The company he works for is major. So it's all out of all the 10 years that he has spent there, has been talking with people, being kind to people, just going above and beyond for people. There were so many people that had so much amazing things to say to him, so much so that he was recognized by the president of the company, who personally showed up to offer him the job, and he got a position that was never even on his radar, never even dreamed of. He said that he was thinking too low, but I'm telling you, sometimes what we think for ourselves is the floor. He just wanted that position so bad that he said he worked 10 years for, he was going out for that position. But I am said, watch this. Watch how much you do when you elevate everyone around you. So he said everyone is praising him. And I love that, because when he decided that he did get the job, or as he said, that we got the job, it was representing that unity consciousness. And he was magnifying his true identity. And in turn, he was magnified or elevated in the company, magnified and elevated in everyone else's eyes. And so there's a scripture that says, humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. Now, we're not saying humbling as in shrinking yourself, but humbling in this sense means when you yield to your divine identity as I am, as source, you rise and life rises with you, because life can only be a mirror representing what has taken place in consciousness. So it was a mirror of recognition. It was him finally recognizing himself as source, that he was in everyone. There was no one separate from him. That guy that got the job, he realized that was also me getting the job. And I could be happy for that and trust that a position that is perfect for me will unfold. Right. And so it was just, he was also magnified. So it, again, it was that mirror of recognition. And so one thing we really laughed about, we laughed so hard about this, was the fact that he was upset for months. He said this went on for months. He was upset and looking through that distortion for months, believing that everyone was against him and that he wasn't going to be a giving person anymore and share what he knew with others. And meanwhile, there were so many internal changes in the company that he didn't even know about. He didn't even know about someone retiring or that that position was available, because his lens was so narrow that it just never came up. None of it ever came across his awareness, because all he was focused on was, everyone's against me, this is happening and this is happening to me. So he was playing into so much separation that he couldn't even perceive, or didn't even know what was going on. And he didn't also know that everyone was speaking well about him behind his back. So what he really thought wasn't. All there is I am, the perfection of who you are. So that lens that was distorted was a veil over what was already present. So once he dropped that I am not in that distorted lens, he could perceive what was only always there. He could only perceive that that the job was there, the perfect job, the perfect reflection of himself in the guy and in the people that he works with, the perfect reflection of I am. And I love this so much, you guys. So I'm so excited for him and happy that it was the perfect demonstration of everything that we talk about on here. And he said what's next is he's proposing to his long-term girlfriend on Valentine's Day, which he wanted to do for a very long time. But he wanted to be able to have a certain income to do it, and he wanted to set their lives up in a certain way. So I'm telling you, when I am does it, all the little things are included. All the little things that you think that you might not be thinking about, it was included. This job that he has now is so much greater than what he could have imagined for himself. So I love that he just got on with his life and he didn't think about, well, what do I need to do to manifest it, or what do I need to do to make it so? It really was all about, who am I being? And in that, he no longer shrunk himself. He expanded himself. He still remembered that I actually like myself when I'm being fully the source, when I'm open, when I'm not avoiding anything. And he magnified that, even though the circumstances in his face was showing that he didn't get what he wanted. But he did. And I love that. He said we did get the job. They actually did both get the job. his friend got the job, the colleague got the job, and he got a job. He got a job that was perceived as better, and his friend was pushing him up, elevating him in the process. So, again, success for one is success for all, and there is no other here. So, I just love this so much, you guys. This is basically what we talked about in the last video, what we talk about on this channel. So, really, if that resonates with you, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I'm so excited to make more content for you. I just love this so much. So get down in the comments and let me know your thoughts on this video, on the success. Wish him well. He takes over a major position in January, so make sure you send him the best vibes in the comments section. And yeah, you guys, we have so many success stories. Like, I have them so backed up. I'm putting them in a file to share with you eventually. Some of them will be over on my membership channel, so make sure that you join our membership channel for more breakdowns. And yeah, you guys, so our I Am Immersion experience is the next weekend, the 13th. So if you're there for that, I'm excited to have you there for that. All of my books, my revision book, my masterclass for revision, and everything you need to know about working with me personally is down in the description box below. And again, you guys, your imagination is on your side, and I am too. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.